But crying on that stage.
When am I not crying in public? It's so upsetting.
Why were you crying?
Oh my gosh, I saw the well, we didn't even see, but I saw the logo and I went, that's my name, Snow White.
Disney's Snow White remake is spiraling into a full-blown disaster, and it's not hard to see why. With $300 million already sunk into the project, the film has drifted so far from the beloved 1937 classic that even Disney seems to be panicking. The heart of the chaos. A heated rivalry between Gal Gadot as the evil queen and Rachel Zegler as Snow White. And guess what? Gadot is stealing the show. Her performance is reportedly overshadowing Zegler, leaving Disney scrambling for damage. Control. Could this remake signal the end of Disney's woke agenda in filmmaking? Or is this just another chapter in their ongoing battle to modernize old classics?
They're hijacking our childhoods. I'm not sure why they're even calling it Snow White at this point. You're going to have no love story. You're changing the 7 dwarfs to 7 diverse magical beings. I think it's an absolute atrocity to hijack our childhoods in replace for this.
Disney's latest Snow White remake is stirring up controversy, and not in a good way. It feels like they took everything that made the 1937 classic a timeless fairy tale and tossed it out the window for the 2025 version. Some of the changes are so baffling that fans are left scratching their heads. Take Snow White's iconic name, for example. In the original, it symbolized her skin as white as snow, a key part of the fairy tale's lore. But now, she's called Snow White because she survived a snowstorm. Yes, you read that right. That's the big twist.
Not going to be saved by the prince.
She's not going to be saved by the prince, and she's not going to be dreaming about true love. She's dreaming about...
It's clear now. Disney's attempt to modernize Snow White has completely missed the mark. Fans cherish the original for its magical fairy tale essence, the dwarves, the evil queen, and the iconic princess backstory. But instead of preserving that charm, Disney has replaced it with random plot changes that dilute the magic. And here's the real problem. It's alienating the very audience that grew up loving this story. These are the same people who now have kids, eager to pass down timeless tales, but how can they when the classic has been rewritten into a strange, watered-down version of itself?
A modern edge to it on stage. What do you mean by that?
I just mean that it's no longer 1937, and we absolutely...
The truth is, Disney is bending over backwards to be inclusive and innovative, but in the process, they're losing sight of what made these classics so beloved in the first place. It feels like they're so desperate to appeal to a new audience that they're completely ignoring the loyal fans who have cherished these stories for generations. And trust me, those fans are not happy.
And I think that this is just in the Disney tradition. And I always tell people that don't like this version, or they're suspicious they won't like it. Listen, you can go to Disney Plus and you can watch the 1930.
Rachel Zegler, Disney's choice for the lead in the Snow White reboot has certainly stirred up controversy. Not just with her casting, but with her outspoken comments. She's made it clear that this new Snow White won't be waiting for a prince or dreaming of true love. Instead, she'll be focused on becoming a leader. While some see this as a bold update, others feel like she's stripping away the original fairy tale charm in favor of Hollywood's latest trends. Zegler's influence on the remake has been hard to ignore, with reports suggesting she's pushed the film toward a more modern, politically correct direction. This shift hasn't been without conflict. Rumors of behind-the-scenes clashes indicate that her vision for the character has caused tension, both within the production and among longtime fans, instead of the whimsical, innocent Snow White audiences. Remember, they're being presented with a grittier, more cynical version, a change that many feel just wasn't necessary. Zegler's vision, combined with Disney's modern updates, has resulted in a Snow White remake that feels completely disconnected from the original, and for many, it betrays the essence of the beloved classic. Meanwhile, Gal Gadot is emerging as the clear standout in this chaotic production. Cast as the evil queen, her undeniable charisma and commanding screen presence make her the one solid, dependable force in a film that seems to be losing its way. While the rest of the project struggles with changes and controversies, Gadot's performance brings a much-needed sense of stability, proving that Disney at least made one right casting choice. Her poise and star power might just be the only thing keeping this remake from total disaster. But even with that, Disney's Snow White remake has spiraled into a full-blown crisis. With $300 million already spent, the studio is now pouring in. Another $25 million in a desperate attempt to fix mounting issues, but fans are wondering if even reshoots can save it. On top of that, rumors of tensions between Rachel Zegler and Gal Gadot are only making things worse. Reports suggest that Zegler is frustrated with Gadot's growing prominence in the film, so much so that she's even demanded some of her scenes be cut. The behind-the-scenes drama, coupled with a troubled production, is making it one of Disney's most disastrous remakes yet. Disney's Snow White 2025 remake has spiraled into a full-blown disaster, revealing far more than just the typical behind-the-scenes struggles of a big-budget Hollywood film. With mounting production costs, escalating delays, and a growing disconnect between Disney and its audience, this latest remake has become a symbol of Hollywood's ongoing identity crisis, a struggle between modernization and respecting the legacy of beloved classics. From the very beginning, the project has been plagued with issues. With a massive $300 million budget, Disney hoped to deliver a fresh, reimagined version of their 1937 animated masterpiece, but instead, they have found themselves scrambling to contain the fallout. The controversy surrounding the film has only intensified as reports of internal drama, clashing egos, and questionable creative choices continue to surface. At the heart of the chaos is a growing rivalry between Gal Gadot and Rachel Zegler, the two leading stars of the film. Gadot, cast as the evil queen, has completely stolen the spotlight, overshadowing Zegler's portrayal of Snow White. Early footage and insider reports suggest that Gadot's performance stays closer to the classic, elegant and sinister nature of the original character, earning praise from test audiences and even some skeptical Disney fans. Meanwhile, Zegler, who was initially promoted as a bold, progressive choice for Snow White, has only added fuel to the controversy. Her past dismissive comments about the original film, along with her politically charged approach to the character, have alienated both traditional Disney fans and casual moviegoers. Rather than embodying the timeless charm and innocence of the original Snow White, Zegler's version has been criticized as a modernized, agenda-driven reinterpretation that feels disconnected from the fairy tale's core essence. Recognizing the shifting public perception, Disney appears to be quietly pivoting its marketing strategy. Instead of promoting Zegler as the heart of the film, the studio has now begun focusing more on Gadot, hoping that her popularity will help salvage the project. Gadot's commanding screen presence and adherence to the original tone of the fairy tale have been one of the few aspects generating genuine excitement. However, despite Disney's attempts at damage control, the studio faces an uphill battle. The film's mounting budget, extensive delays, and dwindling public interest could turn Snow White 2025 into one of Disney's most costly and controversial failures in recent history. But the failure of Snow White 2025 isn't just about one bad remake, it's a reflection of a much deeper issue in Hollywood. Studios, particularly Disney, have been walking a fine line between modernizing classic stories and respecting their original magic. In recent years, there has been a noticeable shift towards agenda-driven storytelling, with studios prioritizing social messaging over faithful adaptations. This approach, however, has backfired spectacularly. Instead of drawing in new audiences, many of these projects have ended up alienating the very fans who grew up loving these classics. People don't turn to Snow White, The Little Mermaid, or Cinderella for political statements. They watch them for the timeless sense of wonder, romance, and adventure that made these fairy tales endure for generations. Gadot's faithful portrayal of the evil queen has resonated far more with fans than Zegler's controversial take on Snow White, proving that audiences still crave nostalgia and authenticity over forced reinvention. Disney's recent marketing shift toward Gadot speaks volumes. It suggests that even the studio is beginning to acknowledge this growing divide.